Vortex viewers are invited to a special taping with Michael Voris and Canadian broadcaster Michael Corin at the Detroit studios of RealCatholicTV.com on Tuesday, June 14th at 7 p.m. Michael Voris was a guest on Michael Corin's Canadian TV show a couple of months ago and has now authored a provocative book entitled Why Catholics Are Right. So join the two Michaels right here in our studio for what is sure to be a spirited and lively taping, as well as book signing opportunity. For further details, click on the link. Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Before we get into today's news, just another quick reminder that we now have a resource page attached to RealCatholicTV.com containing additional news stories and other resources from our stories right here, as well as commentary on current events in Catholic culture happening all around the world. To check it out, go to realcatholictv.blogspot.com by clicking on the link right next to the video screen. Now for today's news. Quebec Christmas to drop Christ. New restrictions in the province of Canada will allow the celebration of Christmas, but forbid any public reference to God or the birth of Christ in public daycare centers. Citizens of the province are outraged at this targeted persecution since Quebec used to be the most Catholic province in the country, and about 50 daycare centers involved in a Catholic-Jewish coalition are suing the government for violations of constitutional rights. Daycare centers that do express any form of religion will be denied the country's generous subsidies, which make daycare much cheaper for parents. The government's denial of funding to daycare centers based on their religion is definitely discrimination, and it is on this basis the coalition is filing suit. Church on the attack. The church is fighting back after being told new legislation would force them to adopt children out to homosexuals. The dioceses of Springfield, Peoria, and Joliet will fight for survival and protection of children from being placed in dysfunctional situations after a law recognizing same-sex marriage went into effect June 1st, called the Religious Freedom Protection and Civil Union Act. The government has accused Catholic charities of discriminating based on race, marital status, and sexual orientation, but the executive director of Catholic Charities points out that child welfare advocates know it is in the best interest not to drive the church out of Illinois adoptions. For the full story, visit our resource page by clicking on the link right over here. Gay Pride Mass in Beantown. Church leaders in the Archdiocese of Boston have put parishioners in uproar, doing nothing to prevent a Gay Pride Mass from being held at one of its parishes. In a bulletin announcement, St. Cecilia's Catholic Church is inviting all supporters of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender communities to a Mass celebrated by several Jesuit priests. The event has been announced in at least one other parish, and faithful Catholics of Boston are questioning why priests, who are supposed to be supporting the teachings of the Church, are not being removed for their blatant support of homosexual sin. They also question why Sean Cardinal O'Malley continues to allow or not address so many crisis issues within his archdiocese. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
Pro-life Brits take on new tactics. In war against abortion, pro-lifers in the UK are learning from a new teacher how to save babies. Experienced abortion protester Monsignor Philip Riley has traveled from the U.S. to help organize prayer vigils in front of abortion clinics, and he is backed by several bishops. Riley has taken the British anti-life movement head-on, pairing with the pro-life group Helpers of God's Precious Infants, and as a result, pro-life groups are becoming more organized. In the past, cooperation between pro-life groups in the United Kingdom has been minimal at best, but newer, younger leaders of different groups are now coming together to lead the charge. Catholic student defends resurrection. A student at a Catholic high school in Ontario, Canada, is defending the truth of Christ's resurrection against one of her teachers. You heard right, it's one of her teachers. The teacher told the class that Christ never resurrected, and the story was only a metaphor that you follow. The student's mother wrote a letter to the principal after the incident and was given a response that said the teacher's, quote, beliefs and program delivery are in line with the teachings of Jesus Christ and the Catholic Church that reviewed many beliefs and practices under Vatican II, end quote. The student and one of her friends rebuked the teacher immediately after his statement, which led to a classroom discussion that you can read about by visiting our resource page. Click on the link just outside the screen. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure to check out the Vortex today, where Michael talks about how loyal Catholics on the internet are leading the charge to build up Christ's church. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tell your friends about us. And as always, God bless you.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.